fans are shocked by what happened next. Rumors of a covert altercation between Mena and Mendeecees Harris had been circulating for weeks, but no one had taken notice of what was supposed to be a routine reunion tape, just another opportunity for the cast to air old grievances. Anticipated it to blow up into the most vicious altercation in hip-hop and love history. According to sources, feelings were running high when an off-camera conversation became dangerously heated, leading to an alleged assault so intense that security had to rush in to stop it. You can picture Erica's shocked expression as the family was split. Some support Mendeecees as a man pushed to his limit, while others denounce the attack as terrible. Rumor has it that she backed into a corner, praying for calm, only to be struck by a flurry of angry punches. Tonight, we explore every detail and speculate as to whether this violent event was an unfortunate accident of unbridled passion or a premeditated ploy for ratings. Fans are outraged, their allegiances split between two cherished stars. Turn of the story that made the reality show Abraza keep attentive, because there has never been a more hazy distinction between love, devotion, and violence. Tension backstage was evident long before the cameras began to roll, and rumors of a heated argument had been circulating. Fans conjectured about late-night texts and partially overheard phone conversations between two of love and hip-hop's most dynamic personalities, Mena and Mendeecees Harris. But no one anticipated the fireworks that broke out on set as the crew rushed to get ready for the reunion taping. Erica paced in her trailer while holding a glass of iced tea. Erica arrived late after a wardrobe fitting, only to discover Mendeecees seated in the front row, smirking as if daring her to take her place. Her hands were shaking, and her thoughts were racing through all of their recent interactions with Mendeecees. Earlier that day, a heated argument over seating arrangements had set the tone. He gave him a dark, angry gaze and asked, "Why are you here so early? This was my place." He shrugged and leaned back, saying, "I go where I want, Erica. It's not your set alone." Later, that tiny spark, which most people wouldn't notice, would ignite a powder keg. Erica accosted Mendeecees just before the reunion started, accusing him of damaging her reputation by revealing secrets to tabloids. "You told TMZ that I was unprofessional," she said, frantically swinging her arms. "You made me look like a joke." Mendeecees clenched his jaw and squeezed his lips into a narrow line. "I didn't leak anything," he said, trying to remain composed. "If you quit lying about me, maybe no one would believe that their producer intervened to keep things quiet, but the damage had already been done." As the reunion taped, tension began to simmer beneath the surface, and Erica sat firmly, fanning herself with a cue card. Every few seconds, Mendeecees' eyes darted to him as he averted her stare while scrolling through his phone, but the tension between them was palpable. The presenter attempted to change the subject to more light-hearted subjects, like fashion, and future projects, but every query. When questioned about her new single, Erica's voice quivered and Mendeecees gave her a perfunctory nod, causing the audience to mumble that something wasn't right. During a brief set change, Erica stormed off stage and discovered Mendeecees next to the, "You think you're smart, right? Planting those tails making me look bad. Tell me it wasn't you, Mendeecees." She grasped his arm hard with a sharp voice, and he couldn't ignore her. He pulled his arm away, almost knocking a light stand Erica back off. He cautioned. No one in that claustrophobic hallway could have predicted what would happen next, but in a flash of movement, Mendeecees pushed Erica against the wall. "Don't touch me," he said in a low, dangerous voice that cut through the air, and she briefly froze in fear at the sudden aggression in his eyes. When Erica's wide eyes met his, she gasped, "You promised me respect." And the world went silent for a moment. The metallic clang of equipment and the distant hum of the crew all vanished as the palm pressed into her shoulder with enough force to leave a mark. Mendeecees' face remained hardened, his chest heaving as adrenaline surged through his veins. And then he was slapped. "You swore this wouldn't be a fight." fell on Erica's cheek with a loud slap that reverberated off the walls, making every crew member within 50 feet cringe. Erica swayed, her hand leaping to her face, tears threatening to fall, while Mendeecees loomed over her chest, her voice harsh. "You pushed me too far." Mendeecees' rage gave way to shock as Erica fell on the ground, clutching her stinging cheek, and the surrounding crew, stylists, makeup artists, and others were afraid to step in for fear of his unpredictable rage. The reunion was ignored in Dao Xiao's favor of this horrific scene. As Erica backed away, sobbing all over her body, he crouched next to her and stifled her voice. "I didn't mean to do that," but his words didn't hold up against the havoc he had caused. Security personnel eventually burst into the hallway and pulled him back. One guard led Erica to a makeup station. Word of the brawl went around the studio like wildfire, and while some cast members tried to console Erica, another grabbed Mendeecees' elbow and led him away in handcuffs, the metal shackles shining beneath the stark corridor lights. The chair offered tissues and a tenuous promise of safety. Others turned their heads away in shock, and the producers stopped shooting for the day, sending everyone home until the investigations were finished. Fans watching live feeds were furious, and social media was flooded with comments saying that Mendeecees is out of control and that Erica needs to be protected. In the hours that followed, both sides twisted the story to their advantage, and Mendeecees' publicist issued a statement expressing profound regret and characterizing the incident as an unfortunate escalation of events. Shocked reaction videos flooded YouTube channels, analyzing every angle of the shove, slap, and tears that played in loops across endless screens. Erica's team, in the meantime, released a guarded statement, refusing to go further but reassuring supporters that she had medical attention and was safe, despite personal tensions, and promising his full cooperation. Rumor sites took advantage of every subtle body language. The next Mendeecees' wife reportedly flew in crying, but determined demand for answers about what prompted him, and the tone of his outfit choice created headlines about treachery, violence, and the broken relationship of friendship. Friends of both celebrities took to social media to defend Mendeecees as a man pushed to the limit, while others denounced his actions as unforgivable. As a result, the fan base shattered alliances formed. Erica's mother arrived at the hospital, where her daughter was treated, face pale but determined, promising to press charges if necessary. While the network's legal team held emergency meetings to evaluate responsibility, doubts arose over whether airing the attack footage in the reunion episode would violate broadcast standards or encourage hatred. Copycat instances sponsors threatened to cancel commercials if the network looked to condone violence within boardrooms. Executives assessed the PR consequences against the ratings boost of an unfiltered scandal. The decision would shape not only the season's finale but the franchise's future. Were they a safe platform for talent or a volatile stage for real-life drama? In the midst of this turmoil, fans dug for deeper context. Was this attack the culmination of months of brewing resentment? Whispers of leaked text messages between Erica and a third party fostered suspicions of betrayal, some followers claimed. Mendeecees caught Erica in a lie and lost control. Others said Erica provoked him, purposely creating the scene for viral fame. Conspiracy threads dissected every deleted Instagram story, every cryptic tweet seeking proof that the fight was either premeditated or a terrible accident of untamed emotions. Nevertheless, amidst the supposition, one fact remained obvious. Neither Erica nor Mendeecees emerged unhurt. Erica's face bore a red spot. Her confidence in her co-star was destroyed by the slap, and she faced public shame and potential legal repercussions. Their friendship, which had formerly been a hallmark of the show's camaraderie, was in ruins, and interviews with both were canceled, leaving the audience wondering whether there would be a tour apology, legal disputes, or secret peacemaking behind closed doors. The story was far from finished, though, as night descended on the studio and rumors began to circulate even more quickly about Erica's recovery. Texts to friends depicted a woman caught between sadness and rage. He claimed to love her before hitting her. Mendeecees' team responded with a recording of him trying to apologize, saying, "I'm sorry, I lost myself." These pieces, each designed to influence public opinion, actually served to widen the gulf as supporters took sides and locked themselves in echo chambers of approval or disapproval in the days that followed the late-night incident. Talk shows analyzed the incident with dramatic zeal, and commentators argued about whether the violence was a result of staged confrontation or a real look into a breakdown. Therapists considered the potential effects of showing such events on mental health, and advertisers considered their businesses' associations with the dispute. And despite everything, Erica and Mendeecees remained at the center of a tumultuous situation that they once thought they controlled. The outrage was immediate, and memes of the shove and slap spread around the world. Online polls asking whether people would watch the reunion if the fight was broadcast included hashtags such as "Da Justice for Erica," which trended alongside "Da Mendeecees Repent." Some pledged to boycott the show completely, criticizing its slide into dangerous terrain, while a smaller majority said, yes, enticed by the promise of unvarnished reality. However, even as the drama dominated headlines, a quieter, loyal crew members described Mendeecees' breakdown behind the scenes, saying that he was filled with guilt and had tears in his eyes as he held Erica's abandoned jacket. Erica departed, the studio on a stretcher, her face damaged and her eyes vacant, but still. As day one of the fallout came to an end, the narrative stood at a crossroads. Would reconciliation ever be possible? Could a vicious attack by one of the people who were determined to speak her side when the time was perfect expose the human cost of sensational violence behind the spectacle? Whether the stars of love and hip-hop were forgiven or forgotten, the future was still unclear, with all of the enemies and allies standing by, waiting to jump on the next turn. The story was only getting started, and part 2 would go even farther into the emotional ruins, and in the hours after that horrific day, Mena withdrew to a private recovery suite at a nearby hospital where friends and family gathered to keep vigil for Mendeecees' Harris, raising the disturbing question of whether reconciliation would ever be possible after such a brutal time. Between hospital stays and legal consultations, the two erstwhile pals found themselves living out separate but inexorably linked nightmares after being discreetly freed on bail and instructed to remain under close observation and undergo anger management. Erica's mother refused to leave her side, sending many texts to producers requesting openness and protection for her daughter. Her phone rang while she was in the hospital, and Erica's cheek stayed red and tender, a continual reminder of the slap that was audible throughout the reality television world, endlessly with encouraging hashtags and harsh criticism from trolls who doubted her decisions. Did you anticipate that one post would read, "Love and hip-hop will ruin you"? Tears, she told her mother in a shaky voice. "I need to get out of here. I need my space across town," as she typed frantically, blocking and reporting every harsh comment. Mendeecees sat in a small, sparsely furnished apartment that his legal team had rented, and he glanced at the ring he wore. The ring seemed like a noose, and Erica had only admired it days earlier, recalling her laughter as she tried it on. His phone stays silent save for the occasional email message, a reminder to post bail, a press query, or threats from followers calling for his destruction. When he eventually took it up, he dialed his best friend, saying, "I messed up badly," he said, his shoulders hunched. "I was upset and hurt that I lost control." His friend advised him to go to therapy and issue a public apology. But Mendeecees in. The meantime, the network's crisis team convened in a conference room behind closed doors, with executives, lawyers, and publicists facing solar panels displaying sponsor memoranda and social media stats. One executive said, they discussed a public apology video with both stars. Some urged for a combined statement to demonstrate unity, while others expressed concern that they couldn't afford to lose this franchise, but also couldn't ignore the fact that we didn't protect our talent. At a nearby cafe, a tabloid reporter, overheard a studio insider asserting that Mendeecees had offered Erica a private meeting, and freelance journalists positioned themselves outside the studio lot in hopes of catching a glimpse of Erica's convoy as she left the hospital. Forcing. A reconciliation would appear to be dishonest and only increase the outrage. Rumors that Erica's silence might have been bought spread online within minutes, with supporters calling it a betrayal and accusing her of selling out the truth. Critics argued that she was just protecting herself. The settlement money confidentiality contract included a pledge to never discuss it publicly. Erica's inner group disagreed about her children's future. One close friend urged her to press criminal charges, stating that she could only force Mendeecees to face the consequences by taking a stand. Buddy suggested that a friendly settlement, apology, or resolution may provide a more respectable way forward. Erica listened to them both, divided between empathy and rage, and she made notes in a spiral notebook. Should I file charges? What do I want? What will help me solve the problems that swirled in her thoughts like storm clouds? Supporters of Erica uploaded side-by-side pictures of another postjock. Your Forgiven D's contended that love relationships in the program had always flourished on redemption arcs, and that males should also have a shot at redemption. She claimed that the contrast between her crying and smiling demonstrated her honesty. Though no one could verify its origin, someone shared a screenshot of a supposedly apologetic video of Mendeecees back in the hospital when Erica met with the moderators. Despite their best efforts, moderators frequently failed to keep conversations calm as insults mounted and rumors spread. Sitting in a tiny conference room with windows tinted to block out the view, the network's head of talent relations crossed her hands across her lap and said in a quiet but forceful voice, "I need assurance that I'm safe. I cannot return to set until I know." The executive nodded rapidly, promising stricter security procedures, zero tolerance for aggression, and required counseling for all cast members. When asked further, the question of whether Mendeecees would return at all hovered uncomfortably in the air. That is undergoing legal review. In the meantime, Mendeecees' legal team worked nonstop, setting up character witness interviews, including one with a producer who said he overheard Erica mock Mendeecees by calling him weak and fake. The defense contended that provocation played a part in Mendeecees' reaction to ongoing emotional manipulation during a period of intense emotional suffering. Domestic abuse victims' organizations objected to this portrayal and started petitions to have the shows in order to safeguard cast online. A fan-made web map identified every spot where Erica and Mendeecees had filmed together in previous seasons. Users annotated each point with emojis such as a broken heart and a first question mark. Viral, demonstrating the extent to which a plot involving love and treachery had devolved into actual violence. YouTube commentary channels broadcast hour-long episodes with purported specialists in reality TV psychology, discussing whether or not producers purposefully created conflict by requiring these two a private meeting between Erica and Mendeecees was rumored to be planned at a neutral venue, possibly a retreat center in the mountains where they could mediate with a counselor present, while the legal battles and network negotiations raged. Insiders revealed that the session would take place. Fans responded suspiciously, wondering if this was just a ploy, or if it was a sincere attempt to ease tension in private fan groups, where some members want to live stream any footage of filming trucks approaching the seclusion in public. Erica's recuperation progress was documented by carefully chosen social media posts, such as a video of her perusing children's books in a bookstore with her eyes soft and a picture of her painting a canvas while grinning for the first time in days. Each post sparked an outpouring of encouraging words. "Stay strong, we love you, you got this." But underneath were sarcastic notes. "This is just a new storyline, drama queen, and Yandi is next." The contrast between the derision and the affection highlighted how toxic the fanbase is. Mendeecees' crew responded with its own carefully chosen updates, including a video of him working out at a gym with sweaty muscles and the message, "Working on me." The battle for image control grew more intense as both celebrities attempted to shape the story while grappling with personal suffering in the background. One clip showed him closing his eyes in prayer at a church, while supporters commended his dedication to self-improvement, and critics referred to it as performative atonement. Viewers tuned in to see previous programs where Erica and Mendeecees interacted, and sponsors noticed some halted ad buys. Network ratings management keenly monitored these fan dynamics throughout these sequences. Others were concerned about brand association and asked about special advertising spots during the next dispute resolution program. With dollars and headlines dancing in an awkward partnership controversy, profit was guaranteed. But as the days stretched into a week, Erica's with tens of thousands of likes, retweets, and encouraging comments, the Twitter account shared a serious thread about resilience, self-worth, and the value of empathy. She discussed the strength of vulnerability and the necessity of standing firm against injustice. It seemed less like a journalist's used her statement. We all deserve safety even under bright lights, as a rallying cry for her supporters in a promotional post that was more like a manifesto distilled from her suffering. Mendeecees, for his part, posted a picture of himself with his eyebrows furrowed while reading a self-help book on anger management. In focus, the text said, "Growth isn't linear." Fans' reactions were a mix of doubt, asking if he was indeed learning, and hope that perhaps he can change. The true stakes behind those remarks were whether this public figure could save his reputation, or if his actions would permanently define him in the eyes of the public. Amid these public maneuvers, the I need to feel heard. I can't accept apologies that disregard my anguish. I demand recognition and accountability. Erica spent hours practicing her words with her therapist before their private mediation meeting. She stared at the ring on her finger, which had once represented togetherness, but now served as a reminder of broken trust, and pondered what lied ahead as Mendeecees made his own list of justifications for his conduct, explaining that each line was a boundary she hoped he would maintain. His voice was heavy with emotion as he tried saying, "I never wanted to hurt you," in front of a mirror. He was afraid that even sincere regret might not be enough, and every word he said was tinged with fear. The private retreat center delivered a secret itinerary to its producers, with arrival times, security routes, confidentiality agreements, and a setting for high-stakes drama wrapped in tranquil yoga mats. The story was labeled irredeemable, another cautionary tale in a world that watched every slip and misstep. Even the most serene environment could not ensure true calm, as both celebrities had to deal with the strains of both public expectation and personal sorrow. Morning therapy circles around the fire cameras were covertly placed to catch unvarnished honesty. Fans gathered before the retreat's entrance as the sun rose on the day of mediation, some hoping to catch a glimpse of the first interaction, while others labeled it just another publicity ploy. Trending hashtags like Chew Peace or Profit were discussed by insiders, who argued, if any, the only thing that was certain was that the next chapter would influence not only Erica and Mendeecees' futures, but also the limits of reality television itself. The story had progressed far beyond a straightforward altercation, and would either resonate with viewers or be written off as a network-scripted sequel to an already damaging saga. Become a mirror reflecting the audience's own involvement in consuming scandal. In the days ahead, viewers would choose whether to demand accountability or go for the next big story. But for now, the delicate balance between conflict and healing was on the verge of being upset. Part 3 would show whether two people were broken by violence. The air was clear and quiet, except for the sound of the first morning light filtering through the tall pines surrounding the retreat center, which brought Erica and Mendeecees face to face for the first time since that violent outburst. Could they find a way to understand, or would the cycle of spectacle claim another casualty? A lone wooden seat, purposefully positioned beneath an old oak, provided the unusual meeting location for two stars whose bond had been broken in a burst of rage and treachery, amid the distant singing of birds and the gentle rustle of wind through branches. Erica wore a light gray sweatpants and hoodie, and her hair was pulled back in a loose bun. Her cheeks were still tender, and the bruise was almost healed but still faintly purple, a reminder of the slap that had rocked her world. Mendeecees stood close by. Erica approached with deliberate steps, each one echoing in the clearing. Mendeecees was the first to break the stillness. His voice whispered, "Erica, I'm so sorry." He was wearing a basic black tracksuit, hands stuffed into his pockets, and shoulders dropped for a while as they just stared at each other, the weight of weeks pressing on them. The words seemed small against the vastness of the forest, yet they held the tremor of genuine remorse. Erica sank onto the bench, eyes fixed on her folded hands. Sorry doesn't change what happened. She trembled as she forced herself to continue, whispering, "You broke my trust and you crossed a line I never thought you would." He listened with his head bent, watching her fight back tears. And after a long moment, Mendeecees raised his voice. "I was hurt and furious, and I screamed. I can't take back what I did, but I can swear to spend every day making it correct." He carefully stretched for her palm open. Erica glanced at his hand, her heart thumping, and the cameras, discreetly placed at a distance, recorded each heartbeat in frames too private to be shown without permission. Behind them, a soft voice led that the mediator, a seasoned counselor, stood off to the side with a clipboard in hand. She wore earth-toned attire, as though to fit in with nature, and her demeanor was peaceful and soothing. "Can you remind Erica that this is a session about listening and healing?" Mendeecees swallowed and raised his shoulders, causing me to feel betrayed. He acknowledged that I believed you were keeping secrets from me regarding the baby's paternity, your loyalty, and your look. Flicked away, hurt, and when the rumors began, I felt exposed, humiliated, and I allowed my pride to override my love for you. At each confession, Erica's expression softened, but she remained defensive. The counselor then asked her gently, "Erica, could you tell me what was going through your mind after the slap?" Erica drew a trembling breath and added, "I felt small. I felt fear, shame, and confusion. Why did he do that?" she wondered. "This to me?" Her voice trembled as she went on. "And I wanted answers, not apologies. I cried until my pillow was wet for days, wondering if I ever knew him at all." Even the birds appeared to pause as silence descended upon the clearing. The counselor nodded and then changed the subject, saying, "Now let's see what each of you needs from the another." "I will go to anger," she said, turning to Mendeecees. "What can you offer Erica to help rebuild trust?" He gazed at her voice steadily despite his anguish. Erica heard his pledge and gave it some thought. She looked at the bruise on her cheek. "I will participate in Ku's therapy with you. I will respect your boundaries, both physical and emotional. I will never touch you again in anger." Then, looking into his sincere eyes, she continued, "Regardless of how difficult it is, I need you to answer my questions. I need to know why you lied about my reputation and why you gave tabloids rumors. I need to know the whole truth. Without excuses." Her words were strong, each one. A boundary set in stone. Mendeecees nodded, weeping. "I'll tell you everything, no matter how ugly, no more secrets." He wiped his eyes. Voice rough, "And I'll keep seeing my therapist and an anger specialist." So this, never, happens again as the mediation progressed. Unexpected revelations revealed Mendeecees acknowledged that a leaked email which Erica believed he had written to a gossip blogger had really been doctored. "I didn't send that," he insisted. "Someone photoshopped my words to make it look like I was mocking you." Erica's brow furrowed. She recalled the pain of reading those postings. "So you're saying I fell for a lie?" she inquired. He agreed, saying, "Yes, and I'm sorry you had to deal with that. I should have stood up for you and not allowed rumors to ruin our relationship." The counselor then inquired, "How did you learn out about the manipulated text?" And Mendeecees described how he engaged a digital forensics specialist who, upon presenting the proof screenshots with metadata and an expert, was able to track down the tampering. Testimony, her eyes grew wide. "I didn't know," she muttered. "I never knew." As Erica took in the new information, tears seemed to fall from her eyes. She reached for his hand as tears of relief and grief mixed this time. "If what you say is true, then I reacted to a lie and I hurt you in return," she said, acknowledging that I had also reacted angrily by accusing you of spreading rumors and casting doubt on your reputation. Mendeecees clasped her hand and said, "We both made mistakes because of hurt, and now we can choose." Her voice faltered as she went on. "I'm sorry I didn't ask you first." The counselor took them through an exercise where they each drew down a list of their complaints and wishes for the future. They read the lists aloud, their voices trembling, but they concluded that each confession removed a layer of agony. Counselor suggested that they meet later to talk about limits and a possible course of action, exposing the brittle foundation of their previous friendship and cooperation. As the morning faded into the afternoon and the winds picked up rustling leaves above them, cameras followed them at a respectable distance, recording their shadows against the wooden boardwalk as Erica and Mendeecees strolled side by side toward the lodge. During the break, Erica said to a friend who had accompanied her, "It's surreal hearing. His weakness," she muttered, "makes me mourn the guy I believed him to be. And part of me still fears him." Her companion nodded and advised her to take it slowly, trust. Must be gradually rebuilt. Erica sipped water, considering the journey. Ahead. In the meantime, Mendeecees sat by himself in a peaceful area of the retreat's garden, going over his notes. He scrolled over his vows to attend weekly treatment, write a public letter of apology, and donate to charities that support victims of domestic abuse. In an act of kindness, he intended to give Erica a bouquet of white lilies, which are traditionally emblems of purity and fresh starts. His pulse raced as he considered if she would accept such a token. After lunch, they met again beneath the oak bench, and the counselor used role-playing to practice challenging Erica, in the simulation, expressed her anxiety in talks, saying, "I'm afraid you'll lose control again." Mendeecees reassured her, saying, "I understand that fear, and I promise you." They switched roles and developed empathy for one another's viewpoints, but then there was an unexpected turn of events. Another couple in the retreat recognized Mendeecees from the show and cautiously approached him. A small altercation broke out when they thought Erica, the counselor, was not there. "I'm learning better ways to control my emotions." Erica watched this minor altercation and said, "Even small missteps can threaten our progress," reminding her that vigilance was necessary. The afternoon session concentrated on future safeguards, and they drafted a healing protocol. They intervened to diffuse the misunderstanding and later provided a debriefing on the significance of feeling safe in public. This written agreement, which was signed with shaking hands, lays out clear boundaries, prohibits physical confrontation, prohibits the public airing of grievances on social media, and requires cooling-off times during disagreements and joint therapy sessions. The counselor continued, "You've taken meaningful first steps healing is," as the sun dipped low, pouring golden light through the trees. The covenant acted as a roadmap in case trust was tested again. Continuing, "But you displayed bravery today." Erica and Mendeecees nodded quietly, neither of them embracing, but their posture sagged less from the sorrow they had endured. The most difficult period of the retreat would soon be buzzing with talk of reconciliation footage. But in that moment, the spectacle felt secondary to two people seeking restoration. Their relationship emerged with a fragile, hopeful thread connecting them, captured on camera one last time as their silhouettes against the fiery sunset. The story comes to an end, at least for the time being, when Part 3 concluded with them leaving the bench together, their feet crunching on gravel, apprehensive travelers embarking on a torturous trip toward trust reclamation and perhaps a rebuilt alliance, faced their darkest moment, from the startling shove under the studio lights to the unfiltered, tearful talks in the Forest Retreat Trust, where broken reputations hung in the balance, and fans worldwide watched in anticipation as two reality stars slowly made their way back toward one another. Legal disputes are still brewing, injuries have healed, and Erica and Mendeecees must determine whether this tenuous truce can withstand life's next test. We've seen limits set and apologies expressed, private interviews that were broadcast for the cameras and the immortal. When drama boosts viewership on reality TV, the question of who foots the bill is exposed. Real price. Erica regained her voice and demanded safety measures and honesty, wrote, an agreement after facing his rage and promising to change together, intended to prevent future treachery. But when they left the oak-shaded bench, none of them could tell if forgiveness would actually last, or if the memories of that terrible day were to shatter them again. Now it's did the withdrawal only postpone the next explosion, or did it mend old wounds? Is this reunion a forerunner to Erica and Mendeecees' re-established bond? We would like to hear your thoughts about greater heartbreak, so please leave a comment with your hypothesis. If you think that second chances are possible, hit the like button and sign up for the bell symbol with the most recent information about reality TV's most stunning repercussions. So, because you never know where the next conflict will arise. In the worlds of hip-hop and love, you never miss a twist. Tell us whether you're team healing or team drama after seeing this video with pals who couldn't take their eyes off it. Only if you remain attentive.